just left it, where did I stop? I stopped it with oblique fibers. So the oblique are the group of fibers which are the majority or the bulk of the fibers. They run in an oblique direction. So they start from the cementum, run in an upward direction, and insert onto the alveolar bone. The primary function, okay, of this oblique group of fibers is to prevent the vertical masticatory forces, so that on chewing the tooth does not constantly go inside the socket and then come out. So that is the primary function of these oblique group of fibers. Then the fourth group of fibers are something which are called as apical. So as the name indicates, apical meaning apex of the tooth. They should be somewhere here. So they start from the cementum and they get inserted somewhere here. Okay, so this is your apical group of fibers. So as the name indicates, they are apical, located on the apex of the tooth. So they run from the cementum and get inserted onto the alveolar bone which is there. So the primary function of this is also to prevent intrusion of forces. But what you should understand is, when I say apical portion, all of you are aware when the tooth is erupting, a newly erupted tooth, okay, you are aware that the root is not completely formed. Yes, am I right? So the root is not completely formed. When a root is not completely formed, so this apical group of fibers would not be present in such a tooth, right? So the apical group of fibers are absent where? In a newly erupted tooth where the root is not completed, where the apex is not completed. In those kind of tooth, the apical group of fibers are not there, right? So you will have only the other group of fibers, and this group of fibers are not there. So that you should understand. So if you see, they are not found in incompletely formed roots. Understood? And then the last group of fibers are called as interradicular fibers. So when I say interradicular, it means between two roots. So when I say between two roots, it is not present in a single rooted teeth. Okay, so it is usually present only in tooth which have multiple roots. So between the roots of individual tooth, these fibers are there. So this interradicular group of fibers are a group of fibers which are seen only in multi-rooted teeth, which means in a tooth which has got more than two roots. Okay, only then between the roots it can be present. So those are called as interradicular group of fibers. I have just drawn a single rooted tooth here, so I will not be able to show it here. I will show it in the next picture. So what you are seeing here, okay, so now you are able to see one group of fiber which is present between these two roots. Okay, so these group of fibers here would be called as interradicular group of fibers. Between the roots of adjacent between the adjacent roots, you will have fibers. When I say adjacent roots, please do not get confused. It is not between the roots of adjacent teeth, it is between the roots of the same tooth. So this group of fibers are usually seen only in multi-rooted teeth. Understand? So among these 5 different groups, the constant fibers, that is the fibers which are always present in all the groups, are only the first 3. That is the alveolar crest fibers, okay, which are already there. So this is the alveolar crest fibers. Second is the horizontal fibers which are here. Then is the oblique fibers which run from here to here. So these are the constants in all the tooth. And the apical group of fibers are also seen in all the tooth, but they are not seen in tooth where the root is not completely formed. An incompletely formed root, okay, these fibers are not there. And finally, the interradicular group of fibers, then they are also seen only in multi-rooted teeth, and they are not seen in a single rooted tooth. Okay, so these are the 5 groups of fibers which are called as the principal fibers. Again, I'm repeating, the principal fibers are no different from collagen. Yes, the principal fibers or the collagen fibers. Okay, these collagen fibers are grouped together as bundles, and they are in different location when they perform different function. These bundles of collagen fibers are given different names, and hence they are performing the primary function. They are called as the principal fibers of the periodontal ligament, and they are given different names based on their origin and insertion, or based on their location, and they serve a different function. And the different groups are the alveolar crest fibers, the horizontal fibers, the oblique fibers which form the major bulk, you have the apical fibers and you have the interradicular fibers. Okay, so as far as this question is concerned, the only question, or probably one of the two questions which can be asked from a periodontal ligament is the principal fibers of periodontal ligament is a default question in any question paper. In more than 90% of the question papers, you will find this question. The question is principal fibers of the periodontal ligament. So when the question is on principal fibers of periodontal ligament, what you're expected to write is, okay, so the collagen is the principal fiber which is there, okay, which is grouped into different groups and then termed as principal fibers. Then you have to mention about all these fibers. This chart format with a diagram is more than sufficient for you to fetch good marks. And one more important thing that I wanted to mention here is the principal fibers are also called as the alveolo-dental fibers. It can also be asked by that name. They're also called as alveolo-dental fibers. Okay. Now at this point, I want you all to understand when a first chapter was taken, that is oral mucous membrane was taken. Ramesh sir would have taken this oral mucous membrane. You would have read about gingiva. Again, there are few fibers which are present in the gingiva as well, if you remember. Okay, these fibers were called as gingival fibers. So please don't get confused between gingival fibers and periodontal fibers. Okay, so gingival fibers meaning they will start from the gingiva. Okay, so that is what they are called. That is why they are called as gingival fibers. They are called as gingival fibers. And anyone can tell me what are the different groups of gingival fibers? Okay, the gingival fibers were called as
circular.
Okay, circular is one, horizontal is one. Okay, circular.
Longitudinal.
Yes, come again.
Longitudinal.
Okay, longitudinal. And then there is one more
Then,
which is called as, okay, alveolo-gingival. Now understand here, when I say alveolo-gingival, it starts from the alveolar process and ends in the gingiva, right? So that is called as alveolo-gingival. As far as periodontal is concerned, we call it as alveolo-dental. It's starting between alveolus and the tooth. That is why it is called as alveolo-dental. Okay. So what I wanted to appreciate here is there are a different group of fibers which are called as gingival fibers separately. This group of fibers that we have read right now are called as periodontal fibers. Please, when the question is asked, make sure that you understand what question it is, whether it is gingival fibers or it is periodontal fibers, and accordingly you should answer. Okay, so these are a different group of fibers and those are a different group of fibers. Okay, but whatever said and done, the fibers are very similar and almost similar in function, but thing is their origin would be from the gingiva and not from the cementum. Okay, that is what is important here. So now we have read the different groups of gingival fibers with their location, and this is the, if you can put a beautiful diagram depicting the different group of fibers in different colors. I think you have a beautiful picture in your textbook what you have. Okay, that picture is more than sufficient. Okay, so that picture, that diagram would be sufficient enough for you for you to fetch full marks in this principal fibers are concerned. Understand? Right. So then coming on to the next fiber. So now on the fiber system, we said collagen, that is the most important fiber. Collagen is made up of type 1 and then type 3. Type 1 constitutes 70%, type 3 is for 30%. So this collagen is grouped into different groups called as the principal fibers. We just went through all those principal fibers. Then the second group of fibers is something which are called as Sharpey's fibers. Okay, so by now I know all of you are aware what Sharpey's fibers are. Sharpey's fibers are nothing but those are also the periodontal ligament fibers, but the periodontal ligament fibers that have inserted onto the bone and inserted onto the cementum. Okay, because the periodontal ligament just cannot go and attach to the surface. It cannot give so much of attachment. It has to insert inside for it to give the attachment for the tooth. So those portions of the ligament which are inserted, entering into the cementum and entering into the alveolar bone are called as Sharpey's fibers. And how different are Sharpey's fibers from the regular collagen? The Sharpey's fibers are made up of type 3 collagen fibers. They are not made up of type 1. They are made up of type 3 collagen fibers. And another important difference is the rest of the periodontal ligament are not calcified. So these Sharpey's fibers, because they are present within the calcified tissue, these Sharpey's fibers can also get calcified. Okay, calcification also happens in Sharpey's fibers as well. But how this calcification occurs is if this is a Sharpey's fiber, the calcification occurs at right angles to this Sharpey's fiber, and they can also attach onto the fiber. Okay, so the two difference Sharpey's fibers have with the regular periodontal ligament is Sharpey's fibers have type 3 collagen, and the Sharpey's fibers are the fibers which are inserted into the hard tissue, so which means they also can get calcified. Okay, so now can you see, if you can appreciate. Okay, so this portion of the fiber is inserted into the bone here, and this portion of the fiber is inserted onto the cementum on this side. So this is what is called as Sharpey's fibers. The rest are all called as the regular periodontal ligament fibers. So these are called as your Sharpey's fibers. Am I clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is another picture which is showing your Sharpey's fiber. Okay. Then the third group of fibers are what are called as intermediate plexus. Okay. So what do you mean by a plexus? Plexus meaning some network. Okay. Plexus meaning a network or some communication. Okay. So now if you remember the development, okay, in yesterday's class, okay. So on this side is your on this side is your alveolar bone. Okay, so this is your alveolar bone. On this side is your cementum. Okay, that is what is mentioned as RC, that is your root cementum. Now, your periodontal ligament does not start from here and then it doesn't run from here. It starts as brushes or bristles from the cementum, and it also starts as brushes from this side. Then, if you can see in the next diagram, this fiber from this side lengthens more than what happens here. And finally, in between, okay, finally somewhere in the center, it will meet. So if it meets in the center, it is thought that it forms a network in the middle portion where it meets. Okay, so that portion was what was called as intermediate plexus. Okay, so that portion was called as intermediate plexus. So initially, the earlier days, it was thought that the principal fibers, that is the periodontal ligament fibers, they have a wavy course, and when they develop the joint in the middle and they form a plexus which is called as intermediate plexus, and they thought this area of the plexus was the area of highest metabolic activity. Okay, but if you know, in the previous classes, when Ramya ma'am took the class, she would have said that periodontal ligament is constantly undergoing change. Okay, that is a structure where it has to be constantly kept at a normal level. A normalcy has to be maintained there, that is homeostasis. So it has to be highly metabolically active. So this statement of the plexus area is what is active was disproven. So which means the entire periodontal ligament is what is metabolically active. And so but what else is the intermediate plexus now? Okay, so if you see, okay, so it is not one fiber which runs all through the course, that is from the alveolar bone. It is not one fiber. Right from the beginning itself, it starts to branch. Okay, it is not one fiber which can run the entire course. So from the beginning itself, it can branch, and from one branch there is another branch which is going, and that is how the meeting occurs. So this gives a network kind of a thing which is happening in the middle, and this network hence was called as the intermediate plexus. So what you need to understand is, it is not one fiber, it is running from the cementum, and it is not one fiber starting from the bone and fusing in the middle. Okay, that's not how it happens. Okay, from the start itself, it said it acts like a bristle. Okay, so multiple bristles, they keep branching, and they come and fuse. So it is not one fiber there at all. So this branching system and communication gives a plexus kind of a formation. So this plexus is what is called as intermediate plexus. Okay, so now we have gone through three different fibers. We have gone through collagen. So in collagen, we saw what was principal fibers, a different group of principal fibers. Then we saw Sharpey's fibers. Now we are done with intermediate fibers. Okay. Now then there are few other fibers. You don't have to know much about these fibers. Just the names of these is more than sufficient. Then there are few other group of fibers which are called as elastic fibers. Okay. Now why should these elastic fibers be present? Now if you understand the periodontal ligament, these fibers have to constantly expand and compress, number one, and number two, inside the periodontal ligament is a connective tissue. So within the periodontal ligament, you need there are a lot of blood vessels. So these blood vessels, the arteries and arterioles, they also have to constrict, they also have to dilate. So for these dilation and constriction, that is the arteries, the vessels of the periodontal ligament, so they also need fibers. Okay, so these fibers which are present there associated with the periodontal ligament, plus they have got an association with the arteries or the blood vessels of the periodontal ligament. These elastic fibers are present. Okay, so these elastic fibers are categorized into two groups. One are called immature fibers, and number two, the mature fibers. Okay, so the mature fiber is what is called as elastic fiber. Okay, elastin fiber, and the immature fibers are called as elastin and oxytocin fibers. So the three other group of fibers are elastin, elastin, and oxytocin. Among these, elastin is a mature fiber and elastin and oxytocin are immature fibers. Okay, so now again I'm repeating, the fiber systems are: number one, collagen. So in collagen we saw principal fibers. Number two, we saw reticular fibers. Number two, we saw Sharpey's fibers. Number three, we saw intermediate plexus. And number four, we are reading about elastic fibers. In elastic fibers, you have three types: elastin, oxytocin, and elastin. Among this, elastin is a mature fiber, and elastin and oxytocin are immature fibers. Okay, so now this table gives you the difference between the three different types. Okay, the elastic fiber, the elastin fiber, and the oxytocin fibers. Okay, so what you understand here is all these three comprises only of the microfibrillar component. If you remember how collagen forms, it starts as a microfibril, then fibril, then collagen, then it forms a bundle. Okay, the bundle is not present here. They comprise only of the microfibrillar component. So they are very delicate fibers, very thin, immature fibers. Okay, although we call elastic as mature, but still they have only the microfibrils. They have not gone to the extent of forming a bundle. Okay, so all these three will have microfibrils. Okay, so their arrangement is only till microfibrillar component only. But the difference is, in case of mature fibers, the microfibrillar component plus they have an elastin protein. Okay, the elastin protein, they engulf or they surround an elastin protein. So they are slightly more mature than these two, but the elastic fibers are not as mature as your collagen fiber. Okay, so these are elastic fibers, and if you see where are these elastic fibers present, they are present in the walls of the blood vessels. When the blood vessels have to constrict and relax, so these are the fibers which will help. Okay, so these elastin fibers also, they're also made up of only the microfibrils, and they are present in between the periodontal ligament fibers. And finally, the oxytocin fibers. Okay, the difference in oxytocin, one important function of this oxytocin fiber is, if you see, usually most of the fibers run from the from the cementum towards the bone. Okay, towards the alveolar bone, either horizontally or vertically, in whatever direction. But the beauty of this oxytocin is, they start from the bone or the cementum, they run upwards, and they do not go to the bone. They insert onto the blood vessel. If you see here, the fibers run in an axial direction, one end starting from either cementum or bone. Okay, they can either start from the cementum or the bone, but they will end in a wall of a blood vessel. Okay, so they will end in a wall of a blood vessel, and they do not go to the opposite cementum. Okay, so the primary function of this oxytocin fiber is to provide support to the blood vessels. I repeat, it starts from cementum, and ideally it has to go to the bone, but it does not do that. It starts from the cementum and runs upwards in an upwards direction and ends in a wall of a blood vessel. So it gives support to the blood vessel which is there. So these are the three different groups of elastic fibers. That is, the elastic fiber which is mature, the elastin and oxytocin fibers which are immature fibers. Then the other group of fibers are, I just have to you just need to know the names: the reticular fibers, the secondary fibers, and indifferent fiber plexus. Okay, so these are the other fibers which are there. Okay, so I will just brush up the whole of the fiber system. Collagen, which is the primary one. So they are grouped into different groups, and hence they are called as principal fibers, are grouped into 5 different groups. Number 2, the Sharpey's fibers. Number 3, the intermediate plexus. And number 4, the elastic fibers, which are of 3 types: the elastic, the elastin, and the oxytocin. And number 4, the other group systems, which are your reticular, the secondary, and indifferent plexus. Right. So what are these reticular? What are these reticular fibers and secondary fibers? All these are again immature fibers. I mean, you don't have to know all about this. So these reticular fibers are also associated with the basement membrane of blood vessels. Okay, if you see, these are basement membrane of your blood vessels. Then what are the secondary fibers? Now, as the principal fibers come, okay, from this principal fibers itself, there are a lot of other branches which are given. They actually do not get inside an membrane; they lie freely, and these are called as secondary fibers. Okay, right. So am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now what are we started with in this class? We are talking about the structure or the components of your periodontal ligament. We said the periodontal ligament is like a mixed fruit jam. It has a gel, that is the ground substance. In this gel, you have the different fruits. Those are the cells. And apart from them, you have the streaks or the fibers which are running in between. So you have the ground substance, you had the cells, you had the fibers. Okay. The fibers and the ground substance are called as extracellular because the cells and the other structures are called as extracellular. So the cellular component, the cells of the periodontal ligament will be taken tomorrow by Ramesha. That's an important 5-mark question, will be taken tomorrow. So what I'm talking today is the fibrous component, the fibers and the ground substance. So fibers is what we started with. So fibers had collagen, Sharpie's fibers, the intermediate plexus, the elastic fibers, and the other group of fibers, right? So that is what we have done. Okay, so we'll just rush through the whole thing again. Okay, so then finally you have ground substance. The ground substance is the gel of the jam. Okay, so if you see, the ground substance is the gel-like matrix. So this is also synthesized by the fibroblast. And if you see, you have the cells, you have the fiber. So which means it fills up all the remaining spaces between them. Okay, or I would put it in other words, so this forms the matrix on which the cells and fibers are there. So what is the composition of this ground substance? So all of you know already, we have already done. Okay, so water is the main content of this ground substance. About 70% is water. The rest are glycosaminoglycans, proteoglycans, and glycoproteins. Okay, so I think you're already aware of these three terms. So what is glycosaminoglycan? It is a long chain. It has got a glucose molecule. It has got a glucose molecule. In between these glucose molecule, you have an amino acid. That is why it is called as glycosaminoglycan, otherwise called GAG, glycosaminoglycans. It's a polysaccharide. So it's got glycose. It's got glycose. In between, it has got an amino acid, and hence called as glycosaminoglycans. One of the important glycosaminoglycan is hyaluronic acid. Okay, there is a huge clinical importance of this hyaluronic acid. We'll talk about this hyaluronic acid probably if I have time now. Okay, then you have the proteoglycans. What is proteoglycan? It's a combination of a protein with a carbohydrate. Hence, it is called as proteoglycan. Glycoproteins, again, it's a combination of carbohydrate with a protein. But the difference between these two is in proteoglycan, the protein forms the main part. In glycoprotein, the carbohydrate forms the main part. So the ground substance is made up of water mainly, that is 70% of water. You have glycosaminoglycans, that is the GAG. Then you have the proteoglycans, and then you have the glycoproteins. If you want to remember these names, you can actually remember if you want to. One of the important glycosaminoglycans that all of you should be aware of is hyaluronic acid. If time permits, I will talk about hyaluronic acid in the discussion. Okay, if I have time, I will do that. So you need to know about hyaluronic acid, then the proteoglycans and the glycoproteins. And the important glycoproteins are fibronectin, tenascin, and laminin. So if you want to remember these names, you can remember actually, right? Okay, and apart from this, the other components of the connective tissue are, so as you know, you should have blood vessels, the lymphatics, the nerve supply, and some calcifications which can be there in the periodontal ligament. Those are called the cementicles, will be taken by other staff maybe day after tomorrow. Okay, so I think I've done with my topic. So I will just, in a nutshell, again I repeat, the structure of a periodontal ligament, okay, is an amorphous gel that is called as the ground substance. Within this ground substance, you have cells and you have fibers. Okay, right? This is the whole structure, right? So the cells are called as the cellular components of your periodontal ligament, or the cells of the periodontal ligament. The fibrous component is what is called as the fibers of the periodontal ligament. Okay, and then you have the ground substance, right? So if there is a question, discuss the structure of periodontal ligament, meaning you have to discuss all of that. You'll have to discuss the cells, you'll have to discuss the fibers, you'll have to discuss the ground substance. If the question is on only fibers of the periodontal ligament, you will have to discuss the fibers, or more commonly the question would be discuss the principal fibers of your periodontal ligament. Yes, understood? Okay, so I think I'm done with that.